Hey Canucks fans, let's talk PD, Demko, and the Stanley Cup playoffs. I am Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take on One Take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Sunday, June the 5th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Today is Sunday. That means it's Ask Me Anything time. That means I'm going to answer all of your questions that you left for me on my community tab. But a reminder that for tonight, 2 live streams. Tonight, I'm actually going to do my regular Sunday night live stream at 9, not at 10. So at 9 p.m. tonight, I'll go for about 45 minutes. Then I'll reset because Parker and I will do Canucks After Dark tonight. So again, 9 o'clock, my live stream, 10 o'clock, Canucks After Dark. I hope you can join me for hopefully both of them tonight. Okay, let's get to your questions. Some really good ones this week, as always, a nice variety as well. Let's start with Major Moose. Who would you rather Canucks target, quality or quantity at this draft? Great question. Obviously, the easy answer is both, but you're asking me, Major Moose, to make a choice. I'm going to go with quantity, and I'll tell you why. If the Canucks were picking top 5, even top 7, maybe top 10, but definitely top 5, I would say quality. And that's a no-brainer because you're going to get a really good player, hopefully in the top 5 of the draft. Because the Canucks are picking at number 15 and they don't have I think they have a second, but they don't have a third, or they don't have a third and they have, I know that they have 6 or 7 picks, but they're missing at least one in a relatively high round. Then I think you're going for quantity as opposed to quality. Another reason I say this too is not that you would, when it comes to quality, it's kind of a crapshoot. After you get out of the top 10, and definitely after you get out of the first round or first 2 rounds for sure, it really is a crapshoot. Some say it's a lottery ticket. So you want as many lottery tickets as you can. So again, that leads me to quantity over quality. And you look at the Canucks prospect system right now, pretty depleted. There's a few gems in there, at least hopeful gems in there. But really, guys like, if you don't even call Rathbone, but PD and Hughes and Pettersson, no, that's PD, Podkolzin and Hoglander, even Lockwood. A lot of those guys are now playing with the big club. So really, there aren't a lot of, compared to other teams, our prospect pool isn't that big. So that's why I think we got to beef it up, and you go with quantity as opposed to quality, get as many picks as you can, and then you trust our newly designed, our newly formed player development department of the Sedins and Mike Komisarek, Mikhail Samuelson, working with Granado, Higgins, Johnson. Then you hope that they can work some magic with those players. I lied. Between Golden State Warriors and Tampa Bay Lightning, if they do in fact lose their respective finals, which near dynastic franchise upset would be more surprising to you and why? Great question. I've thought about both. Golden State has won, I think it's 4 titles in the past 7 or 8 years. They've also lost, well, at least 3, if not 4. They've had. I remember they were in the finals 5 straight years, and they won 3 of those 5. One of them was a loss to Cleveland, one of them was a loss to Toronto. So they've been really strong. And Tampa, they've won the Stanley Cup in the last 2 seasons. The bigger surprise to me, I think, would be if Golden State lost. But I think it's really close. Tampa, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost because A, they're playing against a really good opponent in the Rangers. B, they played a lot of hockey. If you think if they won the finals last 2 seasons, that means they played if you average 6 games a round for 4 rounds, they've basically played 50 more games than some teams, non-playoff teams. Of course, that number is less when you compare them to other playoff teams, but they've played 50 more games, high-intensity games over the past 2 seasons. And then the fact that they finished 3rd in their division, yes, they knocked off Toronto, yes, they knocked off Florida, and now they're playing against a strong Rangers team, but they still got to get to the final still. So that's less of a surprise to me, I guess, is my point. Golden State Warriors, I would be surprised, not massively surprised if they didn't win, but they're lined up pretty good. They're healthy. And yes, they don't have the Kevin Durant's of the world, but they have Andrew Wiggins now, of course, with Clay and Stephen Curry. And if you say that Stephen Curry is still the best player in the entire league, then therefore it's more of a surprise if they lose. Tampa, obviously a lot of really good players. Would you say any of them is the best in the league? Well, Hedman's certainly maybe the best defenseman. Vasilevsky is one of the top 2 goaltenders. but and then some really good forwards. But are any of them the true best player in the league? No, you'd say Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon are the best players in the league. So the fact that Tampa doesn't have the best player in the league, the fact that they've played 50 extra games, and the fact that they come in as a third seed, that would be a less surprising loss to me than if Golden State lost in the final. Even though Golden State's in the final and Tampa's only in the semifinal technically right now. Great question. NZ with 2. Hey Clay, who do you think is more key to our future, Pettersson or Demko? Obviously, both very key. I would, you throw in Hughes, and those are the 3 guys that are most key. But if I had to pick one of the 2, I'm actually picking the goaltender. With the way the Canucks are lined up, they've had Miller to do the lion's share of the scoring this season. Even going forward, even the PD is the 1C and Miller's gone, you still have Horvat as a 2C. But I'm not saying Horvat's up to PD's level, but the gap is, say, smaller than Demko to the next goaltender, although Spencer Martin was really good. And I think you're seeing with Shesterkin and with Vasilevsky especially, maybe not so much in the West with Kemper and Smith and Francouz, but I think a goaltender is key. A number 1 center is obviously very important. A number 1 D-man. So if Hughes was in there, I'd say Hughes is the biggest key, then Demko, then PD. But between Demko and PD, it's close. Obviously, I love Pettersson. I think he's a great player, but I think Demko is more of a key, and we saw it this season. And he also asked, do you think the Canucks could land someone like a Chris Letang and move Dermott to the right, or is that unrealistic? Well, the part about moving Dermott to the right, I don't think that part's unrealistic. But do we want a Letang, though, an aging Letang who's going to cost a lot of money? I would try and go for someone a little bit younger, late 20s, early 30s maybe, like a Klingberg or someone like that, as opposed to Manson, as opposed to an older Letang who might be really expensive. But we'll see. But I don't think it's unrealistic that Dermott goes to the right side. In fact, I could see Rathbone-Dermott being a pairing next year if Rathbone does well in preseason. Jacob says, how many seasons or what year do you think the Canucks will have a playoff finals level team? Since the Canucks were supposed to be good this year. Yeah, they're supposed to be good. They're supposed to make the playoffs. They would have if Boudreau had the whole season. But it's one thing to make the playoffs. It's another thing to be a finals level team. So let's say even conference finals, top 4. Well, you wouldn't think they're that far off of Edmonton, but they're going to have to beat out the Edmontons, Calgarys, LAs, and Vegases of our division to get to the conference finals, let alone the Stanley Cup finals. So I don't think it happens next year, and maybe, depending on what happens with JT Miller's contract, I think they're 2, if not 3 years away. So I'm not expecting it next season, but who knows what happens after that as our younger players continue to develop. So let's say 2, if not 3 years away. Peter, what was it like watching the Canucks when they won the President's Trophy in 2012, but only to lose it to LA in 5 in the playoffs? That was frustrating because, yes, they come off, they're 1 game short of winning the Stanley Cup in the summer of 2011. They dominate again and win the President's Trophy in 2012. They didn't really show signs of slowing down. And then they get to the playoffs against the eventual Stanley Cup winners, the Kings. The Kings won the first 3. Then Ariel and I, we did a song, Don't Stop Believing. We talked about a reverse sweep, basically winning the next 4 after losing the first 3. The Canucks won 1 game, but then they lost the 5th one. And it was very frustrating. And then they lost in the first round of San Jose the next year, and that was basically the end of the Vigneault-Gillis era. But one thing to note about that, too, is I think that Daniel was hurt, if that rings a bell. I think that was the year where Duncan Keith elbowed him in the regular season. Or maybe it was regular season. And then I think he only came back right at the start of the playoffs or halfway through the playoff series. So they're missing their second best player, Henrik and Daniel. So that was very frustrating, though, obviously, especially coming off such a heartbreaking loss the season before. And finally, PJSC, no, we're not sure what that stands for. Peanut butter jam, strawberries, cool. 39 says, favorite all-time player, if you haven't already said it in a vid. Well, I've said it before, but I'm happy to say it again. Currently, my favorite player is Bo Horvat of the Canucks, but my favorite all-time player is Roberto Luongo. I loved him when he played for the Canucks. I loved how good he was. I was fascinated by his relationship with the media and how then he kind of made more light of himself with his Twitter account and as he matured basically as a player and as a person as he was here. When he got traded away by the Canucks, Marie and I wrote a song from a Boyz II Men song, End of the Road. We posted it, and he actually reached out to me. He sent me a DM and thanked me for the song. That was pretty cool, and I've traded a couple of DMs with him since. Not a lot. It was not like we're best buds or anything, but he's always been very classy and very patient and very friendly to me. So Roberto Luongo is my favorite all-time player. All right, Canucks fans, thank you for your questions. I hope I answered them to your satisfaction. And don't forget, tonight, 9 o'clock live stream, 10 o'clock Canucks After Dark. Hope you can join me for both. Shout out to my sponsors, Perform and Transform, Personal Training and Weight Loss, and to Van City Experts, Real Estate Group, Jason Lim and his team. Shout out to my legends, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Andrew Chang. Whoops, I just did that out of order. Legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, and not that there's an order. Hall of Fame members, Jens95, Simalexander, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, Shannon Hollingworth, HSN, Fangirl Gaming, Smooth Groove, and Carol Bovenlander. And by the way, I meant to do this at the start, and I can't believe I forgot. Happy birthday to Shannon. Hall of Fame member, Shannon Hollingworth. I will greet you properly during my live stream tonight, but happy birthday to you as well. Thank you for your love and support on this channel and for your friendship. Okay, if you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or my videos on the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. If you made it this far, 11 minutes in, I want you to type in the word. We're doing a double stream, so we're saying double trouble tonight. I don't know why, but that's what we're saying as the code word. So if you type in the word double trouble, because I'm doing a double stream tonight, then that's how I know you made it to the end of this video. Subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, leave a tip, a super thanks if you'd like to, become a member if you'd like to, and leave a comment down below if you'd like to. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. We'll see you tonight. God bless, and go Canucks go.